Yeah, the unfortunate thing is, an economy is not really what I need. What I need is a builder, and I'm not good at that. Which means there aren't a lot in there, and I haven't added a lot in there. I need the builder because I need things like markets and such, not that actually improve the economy more. But because I don't have areas in unrest, etc., I'm not really all that sure it's a great use of an operation. But the thing is, I kind of have as many operations as I have cards of certain types. So unless I'm, changing my deck construction, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to pass on doing this. It's still a general positive, and I'm kind of, it feels like there's no real age limit on these folks. I can tinker with my popularity enough to keep myself alive, where it's just really basically the randomness of the fate deck that's going to probably kill me, rather than running out of popularity. I still have quite a few in there. So yeah, I guess we'll find somewhere we can rule. This is the biggest gain. It actually goes up by 1 if we succeed. I don't want to put my leader there, so we'll go do that, I guess. The problem is, of course, cash, but I think it's worth it. I throw $3 in there. That was wrong. It's only 2 because of the population there. But I ended up throwing a third buck in to get myself up to the level 2 advantage on that. Now, my card here was an assassination attempt, so I make a popularity check. If I'm less than 5, my emperor dies. And I'm clearly above 5, but I get to reveal them all, I guess. Then turn things in. I may be making a mistake here. Popularity checks may cause one to go back. Again, it's a rule way at the back of the thing, and it happens occasionally. Yeah, you flip a random one over. So actually, I owe 2 to the deck that I'll have to throw back. Did a popularity check that I know I didn't do that on. Now, there may be more, but again, that just increases my lifespan, so it's not a big deal. It's not like popularity is something you necessarily want. You want sort of a middle level, so you don't fail these checks where it's on the low end, and you don't fail the checks where it's on the high end, and you just play this weird little balancing game. Yeah, I don't want to add building because I'm not all that good at it. So I'll discard, I draw, I get an agent. I want to use that agent because I want to bury cards probably, or steal money. Actually, what I want to do is grab money. So we'll use it for that. We got boatloads of money, $14, which is awfully cool because we're going into the deck thing. Pandemic! Apply the instructions on the Antonine Plague card. Keep this card out of the deck for the remainder of the game. Remember that until you draw the Plague immunity, you only get half trade income and cannot recruit. Well, I'm going to need to put this here. The Antonine Plague goes into that deck, I think. Reduce each of your provinces so apply the instructions on Antonine Plague. Okay. Reduce each of your provinces, clients, and rebellions on a trade route by 2. Okay. So that's this. This has a trade route. Yeah, I'm on a lot of trade routes. That's not a good thing. And even this one. Okay. Right. Return a random force from each of those provinces to the supply. Well, this kind of sucked that I had some armies loose. I didn't get a movement, so they didn't consolidate. If I would have remembered, I got to roll one of those at random. It feels a little weird. I'm okay with like a garrison in each area dissolving, but 1/30 of my army is all that I lost out of there. I think. I don't think force is defined to be anything other than a single unit, but I don't know. Reduce each independent area adjacent to the affected areas on a trade route by 2. Okay. Each independent area adjacent to affected areas also on a trade route. It's only the trade routes that get affected by this. So this would have been there, it drops down to that. We only go one space away. These are all mine. That's on a trade route. Goes down. These guys do not get hit. It's not quite, you know, the Black Plague from Empires of the Middle Ages. I cannot recruit anymore. I have taxes on trade rounding down. And this card gets added, well, to the next player's discard pile. If you get this card a second time, you remove it from play and get a plague immunity instead. But I am affected by the plague effects. Now, even if this wasn't in my deck, it would go into somebody else's. I'd be affected by this until I get the immunity. So I got to kind of remember a couple of those things. They are noted here, half trade income and cannot recruit. And that was my fate card. Now I'm on my discard, and I have to pay for the new deck. And I don't remember. Oh, that may cause a popularity check too. Oh, remember. Exhausting the deck. Pay a talent for every 3 of your forces. Yeah, well. So I was close to 30. I was at 29. I lost 1. 28. I don't really want to lose anymore, so I will pay the 10 because I actually have money now. So I don't have to push off. No loans. The discards, yeah, there's no other effect. Okay, so my discards get reshuffled and I have to draw a new card. Those draws, since I'm right here. Okay, a diplomat. Do I want that? Yeah, I can convert this to a province. Now, what's kind of screwed up here? First of all, now I need, you know, my governors again. I'm not going to put a 0 in the deck. Screw that. But I'm gonna need my governors again. So hey, that's fine. But what is kind of disturbing to me. So I am not allowed to recruit anymore while this plague is going on, which means this is the only army I have from now on, and I might not be so very good at military stuff, you know, even though I have a decent military guy and a lot of army commanders in there. So that's something to keep in mind, because the surrounding areas, some of which were affected by the plague, right, are just as strong as they were before the plague. And they will be just as strong every time I attack them. That feels a little funky. If you look at Empires of the Middle Ages, which works with a simpler thing, doesn't worry about, you know, building this battle board up and all the complexity of that. Really what you have is your leader's rating in the particular thing, your military value, your cash on hand, and the only thing that kind of is sort of random in this is, or that is affected by the game state, the board state, including epidemics and such not, is what is the relative social state between the two areas, along with their language and religion. Language and religion don't play into this at all. In fact, the color coding has nothing to do with that. It has to do with terrain instead. So yeah, you've got a kind of different situation here. Now, to some extent, that makes sense, right? I never really bought into Empires of the Middle Ages as, hey, I've got a major empire here with lots of wealth, and I'm in a poor province, so I am that adversely affected, you know, by the combat capabilities. It has an impact, right? Because you wouldn't have the supplies that you need to operate. But you got to kind of do some hand waving in empires to make it make sense. But in this, on the other hand, there's this major epidemic going by which prevents me from raising any troops. And my enemies are perfectly capable of doing so, as much as they ever are. So there's kind of a, I don't know about that either. All right. After buying myself a successful diplomacy to get another territory into my hands, it's already in my deck, but I get an Emperor Dies of Natural Causes, which is a popularity check. And we are under 12, so it is not an issue. I lose one at random. So, you know, I'm going to have to gain more popularity again, keep it in that middle range where you don't die. But, yeah, it feels like there's just too much capability. Do I want to grab me a card? I'm beginning to feel like I need to do some building, and I don't know. That fort builder is kind of a painful choice. What is the cost on building operations? This is one of the factors, and we gotta look and look and look and find it, because they're not alphabetical apparently, which is odd. So we look for where we pay. We pay based on, I remembered I couldn't find it in there by skimming. But we pay based on what we're building. So it's a fair amount of money to start increasing my taxation value, which may not be a worthwhile thing. But this is trade income. You know what? I'm going to throw him in. Okay, that gives me somebody who gives a bonus with a wall. It's just not, I'm not getting anything that good. I get a trade. I get an artist. Well, feel like I got to take the artist, right? Trade income is what I get only half of. And although art is fairly easy to do, I don't want to spend a lot of money on it. It's just victory points. And it looks like I got a long time to go, and this is the worst artist that I could have. So, you know. But I do generate one. I get through the turn. There's a heresy card. Didn't bother me because I didn't have an area among any revealed cards. But now I get an area. I can't tax the area. That sucks. It's too poor. And you can see one reason not to have areas is bad stuff can happen from the fate cards, right? You know, so area, it's very much like empires in the sense that you don't want poor areas that aren't doing you much, but you don't have the choice to build up the wealth of your empire in the same fashion. So like in empires of the Middle Ages, hey, I get an epidemic or I get a plague and it reduces my entire area and it's horrible. Well, in a turn or two, I recover from that because all my actions are going to be recovering my economy. Here I don't have that option. I mean, I do. I could spend influence and draw cards and everything, but to some extent, I feel like that's just kind of killing yourself off, you know. If you spend influence, you need to buy influence back eventually, which burns through your deck, which burns through your money. As long as you can keep your emperors alive by fiddling with the popularity, I don't see much problem. I think I'm going to probably raid, although I could launch an attack somewhere. I'm a little worried about getting my army reduced. I don't know. I am a good general, and I have a fair amount of money. But whatever I conquer isn't going to give me much cash, and I have plenty of areas to rule. So, you know, there's not that much advantage to attacking something. And I can still raid this. I don't think I can raid anything in the forest by the rules, because you need to have cav and need to be able to get the cav there or something. So, let's see. This is the conduct combat. That's not what I want. I want the endeavor, military. You cannot move any horse units into forest even for raids. In a raid, you must make an attack against a non-forest area you do not own. And you need to move a horse unit to the target area. So, yeah. You can't raid into the forests, and that means that, well, other than the Chinese areas, which have a fort, and I assume that might be a problem. Subtracts 1 from the value. Might as well hit this. Clear. It says move at least 1 horse unit to the target area. Return raiders to the province. Right. You're going to be getting 1 for every 10 units in the raiding force. I think the only raiding units are horse units, which means I could bring up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I only have 10, so I can get a +1 basically. But then we have to deal with the defending units. Variable size are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So is this rounded up? Doesn't say. Everything's usually rounded down. So I think I'm going to get a +1 for the units and +1 for my emperor, and that's it. Okay. There are no forts, there's no walls between the areas. If I had a wall next to my area, I would get a bonus on my raid. So 5, 6, 7. That is no effect. Well, that's a failure. Haven't had one of them in a while. I lose my general. Because of that, we go to the effects of failure. Not the effects of death. Okay, return all the influence, none. Failure. Return the influence you allocated, none. Place the minister you used away. Return a random popularity counter. Sucks. And we get a rebellion check. It was not in unrest, the area we launched from, so we do not have one. And now we get our fate card. Barbarians. Barbarians that attack an area among your revealed cards that they border. Uh-oh. That's Aracosia. That's over here. That's probably not close enough. If there are none, they raid an area that is 2 areas away. This is my closest barbarians. They're not going to get there. So, there goes that. And we had no success. So, we get a new card. Another province. Another province. Okay, this is not good, but at least I get some tax. And an economy. I cannot recruit. Yippee. Well, we increased Fergana quite nicely, but we have a flood. If you have at least 1 province or client kingdom among your revealed, determine 1 randomly. Okay. It's easy enough. It'll be Gandhara, which is over there. Reduce its economic level by a result, divide it by 4, rounded down. Not good, but... Okay, so we take 1 loss there. Again, we're largely, trying to build things up. My deck's gotten big enough that the idea of adding a governor just to try to improve my economic situation doesn't seem like it's going to help much. Now, towards the end of the deck, it would have made sense. I'm not going to add a card. I'm just going to flip over and I get another economy. Time I improved this, luckily I have no cards there because I got a famine this time that would reduce economic value by a revealed card and all of its neighbors by 1 level. That would have sucked. I did not draw my popularity chit, I think. Always got to remember to do that. I hope. And we draw again. We get a lot of these. It's good they're coming out because I can improve. Of course, I should be looking at or keeping track of. Yeah, I kind of am. The places that I'm improving. Improving this wasn't going to help me that much. It's not going to increase my income, but I kind of didn't want to spend 2 to improve, you know, like this. These 2 got fired off. I don't know, another one did too. I gotta look. But yeah, you kind of do the, hey, where have I taxed lately? You know, where has a card come up lately? Can I avoid this? One thing you know is that one cycle through the deck, you're going to get that Plague Immunity in for the next deck. So like 2 cycles through the deck, you're guaranteed to fix your problem, but whatever. Time will heal things. To work on turning something into a client kingdom over here. This is kind of a big deal because there's a lot of wealth here in some of these Indian provinces, and I would like to get that up. Now, obviously there is here too, but this one with a 3 population seems like it's a better choice for diplomacy, so that's where I went. I did not pull this yet. Earthquake! If you have at least 1 area among your revealed cards. No, I do not. And we'll just keep pushing our way on. And it's a really good economic dude. Oh, I mean, we only get 2 areas max, two bonuses max, so Bactria is not a terrible choice. Hasn't come up yet. The Antonine Plague comes up. I get the effects again. All of my provinces, clients, and rebellions on a trade route go down by 2. Yeah, it's a bit of nastiness. And one reason you might not want to improve your territory when it's being affected. Oop, that one's safe. This one was safe. Not on a trade route. Okay, so we got those. Return a random force from each of those provinces to the supply pool. I lose something at random. I'll do that later. Reduce each independent area adjacent to effective areas on a trade route by 2. That's this. And, this should have gotten hit before. It didn't. Oh, it did. Okay. Not a lot of independent areas. You cannot recruit, you know, have taxes on trade, rounding down. Add this card to the next player's discard pile. So now this moves on and is replaced by the Plague Immunity card. Because if you get this card a second time, remove from play and add Plague Immunity to the discards. I think each player is going to have their own Antonine and Plague Immunity added to their decks. Since this is only a 1-player version, you only have 1 of each card. It's not absolutely clear because you're supposed to pass this card around and you're supposed to pass this one around, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, there may only be 1 of each total in the game. The pandemic causes it to start, and then the Antonine passes around and the Plague Immunity passes around in the same cycle. I think that gets fired off immediately. I don't know. But I get a general. Interesting. Yeah, I don't feel very rich. Like, I really don't know how much I want to launch an attack. I gotta lose me a unit too. This general may not be a very good pick for me, to tell you the truth. I have conquered most areas near me. I don't have a lot of money. I mean, I can expand my territory. I could attack the Chinese too, but that doesn't look like a valuable area to take. But I could attack something like Sind and start working on that while I diplomatize this, because my horses will work in Sind. But $6 is about what I'll carry, I think is what I'm going to have to pay to make that attack. That's all my cash. That seems like a dangerous situation. Of course, there are loans, but to get a partial attack. On the other hand, though, the other thing I'd want to do is raid. And I can't raid Sind, it's too poor. I can't raid Malwa, it's in the forest. I can't raid here, it's too poor. I don't believe I'm allowed to raid barbarian territories. Everything else is mine. I'm hemmed in. Comes from the tiny map, you know, I'd be able to move this way otherwise, but I can't. I think I'll do the attack because wasting General Lala seems like a mistake. But yeah, it's I have a couple of them in there, and I just don't know, you know, where. We'll hope we come up with enough money to do something again. I'm facing a hell of a big pile of spearmen here. Wiping them out might be useful. I look at the cards. There's 2 defending cards. They don't actually help. I got 1 card that might help. Organized supplies. You can pay 4T to have no arrow limits for this combat. Okay, I don't know what this combat is. I assume it's the entire set of fights, which would mean that I would be able to launch distance attacks. Of course, elephants can't hit the spearmen, which is what I need to wipe out. But I need to get these fast guys out of the way anyway. I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like I'm in kind of an ugly combat where I'm going to get pretty badly used. Yes, I could launch an attack immediately on the spear and start wiping out a lot of units fast, I guess, if that works. Assuming 1, 2 away here. Elephant 1, 2, 3 away. So I could start racking up the casualties against the enemy really fast. That is going to cost me a pile of money. Money I don't have, but I'm allowed, I think, to take out loans at any point, more or less. More or less. There are a couple of points where you're not... after you have revealed your cards, I've revealed my cards, or when your empire just died. Maybe not. Like, maybe I would have had to have planned for it. So I don't have the cash on hand to do it, I guess. You know, because it seems to me that after I draw my Ares cards, yes, it's after I revealed my cards, but it's not right after I revealed my cards. And it feels like that's only during your turn after you have revealed your cards. Well, why would I be taking out a loan before I reveal my cards? I wouldn't, so I think there's supposed to be a just in there. So I would say that's impossible, and I'll just start fighting it out. I'm not going to go into detail on it because it's boring. As we pass through the 4th round, we finally hit the first break check. And, yeah, I mean, again, maybe I could have caused more damage and gotten a break check earlier, but I felt it was important to wipe out most of his fast units that I could and limit the damage that they could do, because some of them could have hit, you know, like 2 of my cav with one of his elephants or something. So rather than just wipe out the most forces, I've aimed at trying to get the important forces out. These archers aren't really dangerous to me, so I can leave them alone. And as I go into the next realm, well, honestly, the best I can do is hit 2 spearmen at a time. That'll get me another break check this time. And now it goes to him. And he has choices of either cav, who have no downstream units, or the archers, who have 1, or these bow horse, who have 1. So I have to go look at the determination here. Fewest enemy counters in its immediate downstream. Both of these have none. Fewest that are 2 downstream from it. Okay, so that's aiming at this. Yeah, but maybe that. No, because, wait a minute. Hold on. I could hit this. I could hit this. God. I don't know. only remaining unit of its type. Yeah, that's a tie condition. So fewest enemy downstream. So this has no enemy units downstream from it. This has no enemy units downstream from it. So it's going to be one of these two. Okay. 2 downstream. It's going to be this. Okay. And I only do one of them. But now I've got a break chance against them again. But my army's getting, well, these aren't all destroyed. 4, we get the victory this time. Yay. I think fate says we die. Popularity check more than 12. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep. Okay, so the emperor dies. And provinces in rebellion become independent. I don't have any. Unrest going to rebellion. I don't have any because I didn't succeed in conquering that. So we follow the procedure for the emperor dying. Some of which is on the card as a reminder, but if this was your last emperor, the game ends. Otherwise, we get a new one. What do we get? Oh, we got to keep the old one. Okay, this one is not a great military leader. In fact, he looks pretty shitty across the board. Add the popularity and return them to the supply. Divide it by 4. Take that much influence. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 17. That sounds like 4 more influence. I'm probably at my limit at this point. Yeah. You're supposed to have 10. 2, 4, 6. I only got 8 in my set, so I'm gonna need to grab a couple more points of influence. Okay, so there's the extras. And again, GameCrafter puts these together. I hadn't ever run across a problem with them before, but here it seems they caused a couple of screw-ups. I'm sure that, you know, if you absolutely needed cubes, you could get them. But I'm not worrying about it too much here. Okay, add the value of popularity. Draw 2 random popularity counters for the new emperor. And we try to see, I think it's this way. Yeah, I guess right. It's hard to tell. They're very close in color to my brain. Yay. Okay. Flip face up the ministerial deck, placing any defending general on top, and stack these cards under the ministerial discard pile. These go under here. I just made the plague go in. Compare the old and new emperors for stature. Okay, so I'm going to be losing 3 generals, for example. Things are bad, right? This guy, I don't know if he's in there or not. It doesn't say, and he's not supposed to be yet because I'm still in the fate thing. So I guess he's still floating out there. I had to take out a loan when your emperor dies, so that's what I had to do to pay off my forces. I've got weak enough army as a whole that I want to keep these extra spearmen I left behind and stuff like that. So I paid off everybody. My deck's a lot worse now. I lost a lot of good stuff, and I have not so good an emperor. We shall see what this all plays out as. But now we finish up the turn here. I'm still allowed to hold this Ares card, I guess, because of my general. And I start drawing anew. And I get an economic, you know, I don't commit my emperor to most of this stuff is kind of the thing. I did gain arts and building capabilities, which could be important. Building's going to be really important towards the economy, but my economy is so shot because of the plague that I really kind of want to do these economic actions as well. And we succeed with an economic effect here. Got a really good draw in 11, which put me up above 12, so I don't know. It doesn't do anything. Nah, assume this is supposed to be 12 or more, and drew myself an artist as my next thing. I'm running low on cash. I don't know. Unlike Empires of the Middle Ages, economic actions and building and all the stuff that helps your empire get better isn't free, right? So like, I'm running low on cash here. The next thing that happens, the loan's going to cost me $2. It's going to cost 12 to recover that loan. So I got to make some money back real quick. At least the trade cards are going to be valuable this time through. But, the whole deck gets reshuffled every time you die. So if you get unlucky on a death or whatever and can't keep somebody alive for very long, you may end up spending a lot of money on stuff that's kind of just random. I don't know what to think about that. I'm really iffy on the whole card interactions part of the game, which is really its main conceit. I mean, in terms of like what it's different from, it's trying to take that Empires of the Middle Ages type experience and move it to, a more of a deck building and prediction of what's going to come up and everything type of game. And I mean, I love the old one, and that's the problem. It's hard to look at this in a fair light when it is such a different game. One thing I have to worry about is I ran out of fate cards, so I got to reshuffle that. And the pandemic's out of the game, so I just reshuffle what's left and get ready to go again. But there is something I want to do with my success. I want to grab this architect who's good at building roads, because roads help the tax value, and so do canals. So I'll probably grab that guy this next time. Now the big question is, do I want this artist when I have so little money? I'm going to draw another card. I get another artist and I have to spend an influence on that. And this is kind of a problem because I'm going to lose an influence because of that. Because this one's better. I could keep drawing, and if I get something else that might be worthwhile, or I could get like trade card, something that can give me cash. So I'll keep drawing. I get a diplomat. Well, that's not thrilling me either. What is my diplomacy? I'm not particularly good at it, so I will not use my emperor for that, which is kind of a screwed up thing. Like, your emperor doesn't intervene in stuff in the way that he would in Empires of the Middle Ages. You can keep him away from the location where he'd cause problems. So if I wanted to do this, that would cost me 3 talents. I'm probably better off going with the artist. I don't want to keep spending influence. Yeah, I've got tons, but I guess I'll go for the artist, and I get to draw 3 cards. And at the very least, if I draw 1, I only have to spend 1 on it. I keep eating the 1s, so there aren't that many there, but I do succeed with the 2, which is cool. And I get one of these. And consequences of success. Not so sure what happens because of these here. First, unused influence. Any influence to the right of the rightmost minister you use. That was this guy, so I lose 2 of these, and I'll just keep them there for now. Okay. And now I'm allowed to add a card. Well, like I said, I want that canal. Hey, what does a harbor do? That adds tax value as well. And again, you can't have many things until you build all kind of other things. It's a complicated yeah, you got to build stuff in all your provinces, and that can be hard. Okay. And what else? I got my popularity already, I think. Pass would have killed all my stuff anyway. I gotta draw a fate card. Barbarians! Barbarians attack among your revealed cards. Yeah, that's nothing. Okay. So these go away, and I get to draw. And get somebody who can build a wall. I don't have that kind of money. I just don't. We'll keep drawing. Okay. Governing, that's something we can do. Although we're running low on cash, we got only $2 left with the loan as well. So, I mean, governing a 1-point area, there aren't many of them. There's one. Costs us one of our $2. Governing a two population area costs us both. So there's nothing that great sitting there. These really iffy cards that I don't really want to do because I don't have money. Now I could take out another loan and that's going to put me further back. I drill barbarians again, no territories that are at risk. I think I just keep drawing. I mean, I could, the only thing I could afford for one is a monument. Oh, let's keep going. Oh, joy. That's, by the way, how the octopus, the plastic octopus, got her name. Yay, I get a tax collector. Okay. Am I only allowed to tax one province? No, it's for each province. Okay. Sapta Sindhu is not going to be taxable, but I am going to be able to recruit troops from it, for what that's worth. Well, if I drew before, I might as well draw again. Bactria. Okay. That's going to give me a few bucks. $3? 2 to the tax value for that. So that's going to start making things more interesting. And I can use an architect, I guess. And let's see, if I have a few bucks, what can I build? If I have $3, I can try to build like a road or something useful. If I had units in the province, I could plunder it, but neither of the two provinces that show up have any units. And I don't want to keep drawing. I'm going to try to build a road or something. So, I guess we collect our money. Sapta Sindhu has nothing. Bactria gets me $3, like I said. And that gives me enough to consider building. So, what if I want to build something? I'm not particularly good at anything, so it doesn't really matter where my emperor is. As long as I can keep him out of the things he's bad at. Each province can only have one of each type of building. A canal or road connects to and counts as construction for both. Now, a canal or road, a canal adds 2 to tax value for both. A road adds 2 to tax value, I guess, to both and improves movement. There may be a restriction, no roads in the mountains. I don't know. I seem to remember something like that. Canal or road contains 2. You cannot attempt to build a second construction until every province has at least one. You cannot build an item if no more of the type exists in the supply. Oh, yeah, so each province can only have one of each type of building except for forts, which is what prevents you from building roads. Like, you have to space your roads out. You can't have contiguous roads, which I think is fucked up. So yeah, I don't see a restriction on building through the mountains. I can't build in Bactria. That's the one place I can't build something in. I've got Sapta Sindhu and Bactria. So if I build a road or a canal there, that'll be a good thing. But I've got to get my emperor out of the way because we don't want him interfering. Hey, he's not bad at building. Screw it. Let's leave him there. He's not doing any great harm. Okay, so if I build a road between these two, what color is a road? A road is black. This color. Okay. So, I don't know, do I want to do that? Might be better off building it up here between these two. I think so. Okay. So since we have not done this before, we announce the type, we pay talents. That was going to cost us 3. We're going to use this guy. He gives me +1. We get a 7. We could have gotten away with the guy who wasn't going to cost us anything. We put a road here, I guess. And we got a success. That success is going to cost me this. It's okay, I still have tons. Oh, I forgot to do my recruits. I want to pull those in too. Hold on. Well, a province is showing the fate card is at risk. Volcanic eruption. I don't see any volcano icons. I don't think they exist on this board. So, no effect. These are all swept away unless I want something. A harbor. Harbor sounds like something I want. Costs 4, but yeah, let's throw it in. And we start our draw, and we definitely want to do economy actions. Okay. I guess we're going to pause for a while, but we're at like, we're going to need to take a loan out. Well, no, we could spend 1. Aracosa has not happened yet. That's a level 1 area that we could get an extra buck off of. I think Gandhara happened, I'm not sure. I'd have to look through. Is because of the restriction on when you can take loans, at least the way I'm reading it, I can't just throw more money in, right? So I think the economic effect is one of the ones where you can just add money and guarantee yourself a result. So I might get a failure where I wouldn't normally because I'm be spending my last buck. That's not good. On the other hand, taking out a loan means I'm spending 2 more bucks. So each time the loan comes due. Attempting to do my economic thing, I fail badly with a crappy roll or a crappy pull, which means bad stuff happens. First I lose any influence, that's fine. I didn't have any. The minister I used goes away, which sucks, because I need to fix my economy and he's not bad. And I lose popularity counter. Looks like I have 6, so it's easy to randomize, which I don't really care about. They're just some sort of weird measure of my life. You know? At the end of the game, they count as something, but this is not my last emperor. If I have some left over, yeah, I get some of that. And that gives me a fate epidemic. If I have at least an area that borders an area I do not own. Yeah, I don't have an area on my cards. So I keep drawing. Hey, I find some money. Hey, I find lots of money. Am I allowed to trade twice? It would really suck if I'm not. But I'm afraid I may not be. I get to do them both. Okay. These pay off now as follows. At least there's that. And I get a general. Am I going to want to do a general? I got nothing I can plunder. I have so little money. And he gets a bonus if I draw another general. Gandhara, which is not going to produce shit. It's not where I have the road. It's hard to see. That's not something I'm really looking for. I'll draw another. And I get a diplomat. If I use him, I get a bonus, but anything I do is going to be expensive. Okay, let's collect our trade. Shitty stuff again. I recruited another elephant. I just like elephants, man. The main reason is that they get 3 hits on the spears. Yeah, so they're pretty awesome. Full trade's in effect, so I had a ton of money. I paid for diplomacy. Probably was a mistake, because I only got the level of the diplomat. I didn't have my army near enough, so this time it didn't convert. It didn't give me a +1. It's not a client yet. It would have been if I succeeded. I got a crappy result, which means I get the effects of failure. And those are not good. Influence goes away because I did not succeed. Card goes away, so I lose a reasonable diplomat. Not a great one, but at least level 1. I don't know if there are any level 0s, probably. And I lose a popularity. Crappies. And I get a fate card where I have a kingdom in play. Coup attempt. You can cancel by free play of an agent from this card's hand. Don't have one. Otherwise, draw a result. If it's higher than your popularity, the province having second most forces goes into rebellion. This could be bad, because I may not have a whole lot of popularity. 6 here, I probably have that. 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I am okay. This is not a popularity check, so I don't lose one. As far as I know. And the Emperor dies. Okay. If the coup happens. So I'm done with the hand. And I draw a new one. It's a tax collector, Sagdia. Don't know. That will make some money for me. And an economy check. Oh, I could pay this off for 12. I only have 15 though. That puts me way close to like being broke again. So since I have the debt already there, I'm just gonna leave it. No reason to pay that off. Okay, so let's get another turn done. And I am really gonna be slow on in terms of getting videos out. I have fallen into a really deep depression and kind of can't find myself bringing the videos that I've been bringing, because yeah, I'm whining on them, but now I'm whining here. What the hell? I thought it was better to segment it, but gotta speak to something, right? You know, other than just crying out to the heavens, which I guess is what religious people do. Yeah, it's not like I don't, in my own cursing form. So anyway, this is the first time that I think we've seen a road in play. And the base price is 0. The road adds 2 to the tax value. So I'm going to basically get 2 taxes, and then I can recruit some units, which I definitely want to do. I mean, it doesn't cost anything to recruit, which feels funny. I mean, you pay for your army, but if you get your army wiped out somehow, you can just keep regenerating it. It's one of those things that in games you're like, okay, you know, it's an abstraction. I can wave it away. But there is a certain level of how do you build the game? Do you build the game, you know, to be more playable, whatever, or do you build it to model each piece exclusively? And in this case, it certainly, you know, doesn't make sense, or it makes sense to model the game in a way that, like, you're not doing more work because you're doing a lot of work. But the particular places where is a lot of work, say manipulating the cards, etc., doesn't feel like it matches to anything, right? It's just gamey stuff. I mean, there's other stuff going on, and it's not that, but if you compare it to, like, again, the Empires of the Middle Ages, which I feel really kind of gets it right on the let's step away and take this really abstract. This goes into more details, but where it goes into more details, I'm not sure It doesn't add much in terms of the historical detail for my tastes. Some of it, like the roads and stuff, could be interesting, but there's something fucked up about the roads in that I can only have a road between these two. Now I can't have a road here, I can't have a road here, I can't have a road here. You know, I mean, everything's a road to nowhere. All right. Oh, crappies. Well, so I succeeded in increasing that, and I put a market builder, that's one I actually definitely want, into play. Because markets are worth $2 each. They're one of the more expensive things, though. Like, roads are cheaper and add value to 2 provinces, so the problem is you had to control 2 provinces, and the reason I have a market here is I only control 1 when I built that. But I got an earthquake on my Sagdia, and that randomly determined one of them randomly reduced its economic value a number of levels equal to a result divided by 4. Rounded down at least. But that's still 1. Oops. And our result cup is getting pretty low. There's only a couple of chits in there. And then, of course, my cleanup. Let's see what's coming. Another economy. I have a potential problem here, which is I peaked in the cup. So if nothing random happens by the end of this turn, I'm going to restock the cup because there's 1 counter left and I saw what it was. And that's just not fair. It's not a bad one. I'm not cheating. But I need a popularity check. If it's more than 12, the Emperor dies. There's a good chance of that. Oh, I grabbed myself a subterfuge because I want to do some deck manipulation. I got some crap I want to get rid of. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I just died. So I've got issues I've got to do. That's going to reshuffle my deck too, which it was almost ready to reshuffle. And it's kind of a pain because I just increased, I increased provinces that I'm hoping to get through again. I'm playing this little game trying to keep people alive, but I don't mind so much with this guy, but whatever. So I got to do some stuff. I have to say that I like about the Emperor deaths in this as compared to Empires of the Middle Ages. In Empires of the Middle Ages, you have an emperor who's good at something, a ruler who's good at something, and you just use the shit out of him on that something, right? And he's basically almost immune to death. Like, so you get Charlemagne living forever, but you get, decent leaders tend to live a long time. I've never gotten another 999 that I recall, but other than the starting one. But here, it's not based on how good he is. And I find that kind of important. Yes, a lousy leader might die in combat or something like that more easily, but it's unlikely unless there's something really horrible that happens, like a revolt or a murder or something like that that's caused by some of the things you do wrong. Which might be through some of the things you do right, too. If you think about some rulers, it's sort of their vision, right, to increase the power of the crown or something like that. Well, some of them get away with it, some of them don't. Are you saying that, King John is just a lousy king? Maybe, right? I don't know. Anyway, so what are we doing? But yeah, here you have a little bit better capability maybe of controlling how long you live with a better emperor. I don't know how much. It felt like the game was easier to play with other emperors, but I don't know. It has more to do with what cards you have in Subterfuge. Subterfuge is probably the one that allows you to keep yourself alive the most. And that kind of makes sense. It's your anti-spy, You're more likely to be murdered or something. But if it says natural causes, poison's a natural cause. Heart failure. Heart failure after being stabbed. Okay. We got somebody who's good at getting victory points. He's got a decent military, better economic, which is cool. But building arts are improved. So we've got some comparisons there. So military, we're going to get 3 new military cards on top of the deck. Boom, boom, A bunch of crap, but I got a lot of soldiers in there. That's my small stack, although buildings getting there. Economy, I get another crappy economy. It ends up, I mean, this is just what ends up happening is the shit that you didn't want to take is what you end up getting. But you can pare that away, I guess. Diplomacy goes from 2 to 2. That's fine. Building goes from 3 to 5. 2 more builders. Aqueduct. Okay, well, we won't want that one. Arts goes from 3 to 5. 2 new artists. Again, victory points, I guess. You need the money and everything for that to happen. Philosophy goes from 1 to 2. I don't have a lot of philosophers so far. And subterfuge stays the same, so I'm glad I threw one in. I lost nothing on there. That's pretty cool. So this guy's up better. Hey, he's a great. Okay. And we did that. Do not resolve any cards that come up. Shuffle the discards. And now I got to pay my bucks for my army, and I got an army all over the place. And I have to pay 2 for my loan. I didn't have to take out another loan. Kept my army. And we draw, and we get what we'd love. The ability to build a market that we can drop down, before the taxes happen. I think this is a good point to load things up. Change of an emperor. I think we've gone a fair amount, so I guess I'll do that. I don't know.